Hello.
Hello there. Is that Chanel Perry?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Chanel. It's DJ Gloss here from Sound Fusion Radio London. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
Good, good. I like the sound of doing wonderful. That sounds really good. Thank you very much for agreeing to do the interview with us, and I hope that we've called you at the right time.
Oh, thank you. I certainly appreciate you taking the time to do the interview.
That's wonderful. Absolutely great. So whereabouts are you in the world at the moment? Where are you living?
I live in Mississippi, right just across the state line of Memphis, Tennessee. I am currently in Florida on vacation.
Very nice too. How lovely is that? Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Is the weather like it usually is in Florida? Absolutely beautiful?
Yes, it is. Well, it looks like it wants to rain today, but typically there's showers. So if it does, it'll clear up pretty quickly. But it's been beautiful since I've been here for the last couple of days. Wonderful.
That's really lovely to hear. Are you okay if I start firing a few questions at you? Is that all right?
Yes, that's fine.
Good, good. The first thing I had to ask you, and it's been burning inside me since I found out about it, is you're now working with the Sounds of Blackness. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
I'm still a solo artist.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I still do work independent of the Sounds of Blackness.
Wonderful. So, how did that all come about? We're intrigued. Tell us more.
Well, it was really just me hanging out with a girlfriend. Her daughter was home from school, and we wanted to find something that we could do with her daughter. Her daughter is 18. So we decided our daughter wanted to do karaoke. So we said, okay, we'll go to St. Dave's and do karaoke and, and have some dinner. And they were actually having a contest there, a karaoke contest, and the Sounds of Blackness were the judges.
Wonderful. Wow.
And when they heard it, they said, okay, we want her. We want her. So after I won everything, they had me to come by if I wanted to audition with them, and auditioned, and I've been a member ever since.
Wonderful. And as they say, the rest is history. Wow.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant. It was lovely to hear. We were told by D Magic, who's the guy that put together My Life, which was probably one of your biggest hits, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell us what you're working on now. What's your latest project, and how can we become part of listening to it and enjoying it?
Well, right now I am currently in the process of writing new material for the upcoming year. Looking at preferably the first quarter. However, if I don't get it all done, I may have to just release a single or two in the first quarter. But my plan is to try to get it done in the first quarter if I can. I am working on still. I may throw in a few house music songs.
Wonderful.
But I'm trying to do a little more soul music, which certainly is more where my roots lie.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm definitely trying to give people what they want. I want to be able to do music that they can transfer over to house music if they like. However, you can still have that soulful.
Yes.
Soulful music as well.
Absolutely.
Which, I've pretty much done most of my life with a gospel undertone.
That's wonderful. I mean, the lovely thing about the soul music is that it's very, if you get a remixer on it, then Soulful House is a wonderful result, which again gives it a slightly different audience and a different lease of life, don't you think?
Right, absolutely, and it's definitely heartfelt. So, and it's where I've been in that vein of music for a lot of my career. So I'd like to. Well, actually, before when My Life came out, I was doing the more soul R&B music, and when My Life came over there, it became a house track because they turned it into one.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
And that was great to see that take new life in different forms as they kept continuing to create new remixes for it.
I remember when the original came out, and it took the UK absolutely by storm. I remember that, and then it sort of disappeared for a little while, and then came back again, and had a sort of second lease of life here in the UK, and
right.
That was absolutely fantastic. That happened. It's. In all of it, I mean, in all of its guises, My Life, whether it's the house version of there are varying house versions from sort of deep house right the way through to the soulful side, or whether it's the original more soulful version, wherever you play it, it's instantly recognised. It's like it's an anthem. It's instantly recognised by those.
Great. And that's great to hear that. That's great to hear that it is an anthem. I mean, every artist would love to know that their music is called, it's called an anthem, because that absolutely says a lot. And what's so funny about that song is when that song was created, Alex Richburg, myself, and Artie Hall, we wrote the song, and the only budget that I had was for my apartment. And I had a laundry area in my apartment, but I didn't have a washer and dryer in my particular unit. So that was just a closet that we just used for hanging clothes. So I cleared that closet out. I put a microphone in there, and I put a chair in there, and that was about as much room that I had to move around the width of the room. The length was a little long, but the width was pretty short. Wow. I really either stood in there, which became my vocal booth, or I sat in there when, he was working on doing the cuts and the edits, and when it was time for me to sing, I stood and I sang again, and we completed that song in my closet. And again, I didn't have a budget for that song, and it just goes to show that if you have a great engineer, he had a 1680 and he worked miracles with it, wow. And we did what we needed to do with that song. And when I sent the demo over, I sent about 9 songs, maybe 7 to 9 songs. And when they said My Life was a song that they chose, I said, "Oh, really? Is that the one? You sure that's the one you want?" Because I'm thinking they would want something more up to date. And that was the one that they chose. And when they said that's the one that they want, that's what they really meant, because it instantly gave me fans when they did it when they played it on Underground.
But it went absolutely crazy here on first release.
And it did better than songs that I've gone into, studios that cost so much more money. It was just something that was created at home, and it's just amazing that to this day it still, gets a lot of recognition for almost any version that you play. It's something for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. I would say definitely. There's such a catch to the lyric. It's that My Life thing, the theme, the repeating of My Life in the chorus. It's just very, very catchy. You hear people just sort of walking along singing it and things like that. It's that kind of catchy tune, isn't it?
Oh, it is, because when I came over to London, I was just curious at how many people really, really listen to the music. So anywhere I went, whether I was on the train, whether I was in an H&M store, whether I was in HMV store, I'm sorry, I would just ask people, "Excuse me, can you tell me if you've ever heard the song My Life?" And they say, "Oh, by the artist Chanel." And I said, "Well, have you ever heard of an artist by the name of Chanel?" They said, "Oh, you mean the one that did My Life Dance?" And then they could tell me. So that was really incredible to me, that people just instantly knew right off the top of their head the association with the name and the song.
They were synonymous, and the charts here in the UK made sure that that coverage that was needed to create that knowledge, that synonymous knowledge of you and the song, happened, and it was a fabulous release. I remember it well. I was DJing at the time, and every DJ had to have a copy of that. It was essential.
Well, thank you so much. That's amazing.
You know, it was.
It still amazes me to this day.
Well, you wouldn't turn up at any Soul Do today without a copy of that available to play, because you know,
it's wonderful.
You know, if a DJ has a kit of songs that he must take, that's one of them.
Wow. So, that just speaks volumes.
Well, it's a great catchy tune, and everybody loves it. Everybody knows it. Everybody sings the words. The DJ dips the volume on the mixer, and the crowd are singing. You know, that's the way it is. It's wonderful.
And it was such an amazing experience to be in the midst of it. I mean, you hear people say, "Oh, they love it over in London. They love it over in South Africa. They love it in Germany and Scandinavia." They give me all the places that they love it, and you hear it, you take it in, but it's such a different feeling when you're there in London in the midst of it, and you actually feel that love. It's totally different.
It must be a wonderful experience to sort of, you know, perform something like that live to a crowd that just you know, sort of, they're wanting it. You know, they love what you do, and that must be a wonderful experience to do that.
Well, great. Thank you so much.
So
I'm glad to be one of the creators of it.
Well, you know, I had heard about the story about the cupboard that you did the vocal in before, but I didn't actually know for sure whether it was true. But now I do, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, the original version had a sample in it.
Yes, that's right.
And it had the streetlight sample in it.
And there was a few.
Which is why it disappeared for a while, because we needed to get it cleared and everything.
Yes.
And certainly just paying homage to the late great Joe Sample,
yes,
who initially created that track, and it just was a great song when I first heard it, when Alex came up with the track and incorporated that into the song. We then went back and we took the sample out to replay it, because we didn't want, you know, it was just a long lapse in time of trying to get it cleared.
Yes.
And, you know, so we wanted to put out a different version of it, which did not have the sample in it. So once we did another version with it, it seemed like everybody wanted to do a version of that song. So it was just remixes upon remixes upon remixes. And I probably stopped counting at about 60 compilations that the song was on. It was just Ministry of Sound. It was amazing what they did with it. They just kept circulating it on, you know, on many, many compilations.
It's fabulous. And
it actually became, what was so incredible to me was that it became the most requested song ever on the playlist of Jazz FM.
It's fabulous.
Which is where it first started.
Yeah.
They played it first, and it became their most requested song ever on their playlist, and I was blown away by that. Yeah,
because at that time, Jazz FM were on one of the sort of best-known London radio frequencies, which was the if I remember correctly, the 102.2 FM frequency, and everybody was listening to Jazz FM that loved music of that type, you know.
Yes. And then Ministry of Sound took over that. Yeah. And I didn't realize that they did compilations like every other month or every month. I don't know how often they did compilations, but it seems like I could go into a record store and just pick up dance tracks from Ministry of Sound, look at it on the back and say, oh, there I am. Oh, there I am. I'm on this one as well. I'm on this one. It was amazing to see that, because they were just popping out compilations like every time you turn around.
Well, I mean, they did put them out, sort of, you know, you get sort of Ministry of Sound dance compilation 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, they were sort of monthly releases. You know, almost like the sort of almost like, but a little bit more trendy than the Now Music sort of series, if you know what I mean. And you know, it seems, I don't know if this is worldwide, but the UK market love to go out and buy a CD with sort of 22 tracks on it for sort of 12 quid, you know, rather than buying the individual tracks, if you know what I mean. So
right, exactly.
You know, and that seemed to be the market here, you know, for quite some time, especially the CD market in the UK. it seemed to go that way. So, yeah, brilliant.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. The next question I was going to ask you is, so what have you got sort of coming up event-wise sort of this year, perhaps early next? Have you got any sort of tours or gigs planned that we can be hoping to come along to and joining in with you? Are you coming to the UK?
Well, my plan is to come to. I actually was supposed to come to the UK this week, actually, and it sort of my plans changed, and I said, okay, I would wait till the new year to come. I wanted to come over. I wanted to get a couple songs completed that I was working on, so that I would have something to present. And I can't end this interview without saying a very, very, very big thank you to D Magic.
Wonderful man.
Who has been very, very instrumental in my success in the UK and, abroad. So I was glad that he put me in touch with a lot of DJs to just talk about what I've done and what I'm doing and what I'm looking forward to do. So just certainly a big thanks to him. I just didn't want to forget that before we were done.
And Dee was the man responsible for putting us in touch with you as well. So we're very, very grateful to Dee and love his projects and everything that he does. And so
yes, absolutely. So I definitely want to try to get over there at the beginning of the year. And just to, maybe do some interviews, some appearances. I'm praying that I have, several of my songs with me that I'll be able to see what the people think.
Wonderful. That sounds absolutely great. And when you do come, we'll definitely be there in the audience watching you, that's for sure, because the nice thing about the UK is it's small enough. It doesn't matter where you go, we can get to you. So that's
definitely when I come, I definitely want to make connection with you and meet you in person. That would be great.
That would be absolutely lovely, and I very much would look forward to that. That would be wonderful. Thank you, Chanel. That's really beautiful, and look forward to that. The last thing I was going to ask you is if you'd like to point our listeners at, and we are a worldwide station, at how to find your music, the best place to find you in social media. If you have a website that they can go and check out, then please tell them all about it.
Actually, they can find it on iTunes. CD Baby is probably where they're going to find most of what your music is going to be listed on those places.
Wonderful. That's great. And just to say a massive thank you for taking the time to talk to Sound Fusion Radio today. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Not at all. No problem at all. I set this time aside just for you to ask as many questions as you needed. So yeah, it was certainly my pleasure.
It was a pleasure all round, and so lovely to talk to you. I hope that you have an absolutely blessed and beautiful day in Florida today and for the rest of your vacation. And hopefully we'll see you very soon in the UK. Have a lovely time.
Okay, and I look forward to meeting you when I get there.
I look forward to meeting you too. I'll hold you to that. That would be lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, definitely. Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, you have a lovely day, and thank you for your time.
Okay, likewise. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.